How people speak English. Luna dreamed of speaking English fluently, a skill she believed would unlock countless opportunities and bridge cultural divides. She often found herself listening intently to native speakers, trying to decipher their rapid speech and natural intonation patterns. This fascination fueled her desire, yet a daunting wall of shyness often kept her silent, trapped within her own quiet thoughts and unexpressed sentences, making the first step feel insurmountable. Her initial attempts at English talking practice felt incredibly awkward, even when she was entirely alone in her room. The words seemed to trip over her tongue, and her pronunciation felt clunky and foreign. She worried constantly about making mistakes, a common fear that paralyzed many aspiring learners. Luna often wished for a magic spell to instantly transform her hesitations into confident, flowing sentences and articulate expressions, but learning was a journey. She observed how people speak English in movies and on podcasts, noticing their varied accents and conversational nuances. There was a rhythm to it, a natural flow that seemed effortless for them but utterly elusive for her. Luna spent hours mimicking phrases, attempting to replicate the subtle stress and linking sounds she heard, hoping to internalize these patterns and improve her own oral delivery. The advice, just speak, felt frustratingly unhelpful when she didn't know how to start or what to say. Her internal monologue was rich with vocabulary, yet translating those thoughts into spoken words remained a formidable challenge. Luna often felt a knot in her stomach whenever a real opportunity to converse arose, preferring to retreat into silence rather than risking public embarrassment. One day, she stumbled upon an online language exchange forum advertising English talking practice. The idea of structured conversation with another learner, someone perhaps facing similar struggles, felt less intimidating than speaking with a native. This newfound possibility sparked a glimmer of hope within her, urging her to take a bold step forward in her linguistic journey, despite her lingering anxieties. Her first online pair conversation was terrifying but exhilarating. She practiced how to talk to people in pairs, fumbling for words, but her partner was patient and encouraging. They discussed simple topics, slowly building a rapport and a shared understanding of each other's learning goals. This initial success, though small, showed Luna that progress was indeed possible and within her grasp. Learning English through stories became another powerful tool in her arsenal. She devoured simplified readers and listened to audiobooks, finding that narratives provided natural context for new vocabulary and grammatical structures. The engaging plots made memorization effortless, transforming dry study into an enjoyable adventure where knowledge seamlessly absorbed into her expanding linguistic repertoire. Stories also exposed her to various conversational styles and idiomatic expressions, showing her how real people speak English organically. She began to notice recurring phrases and common responses, which she then subtly incorporated into her own practice sessions. This immersive approach slowly built her intuitive understanding of the language, going beyond mere textbook rules. Encouraged by her progress with paired practice and stories, Luna started to think about how to talk with anyone. She decided to actively seek out opportunities for spontaneous conversation, starting with friendly cashiers and eventually striking up dialogues with fellow commuters. Each brief interaction, no matter how small, served as valuable real-world practice. The initial awkwardness persisted, but with each successful interaction, her confidence swelled. She learned to embrace imperfections, realizing that effective communication was more about conveying meaning than achieving flawless grammar. People were generally supportive, appreciating her effort to connect rather than critiquing every minor linguistic slip. Luna discovered that the best way to learn English wasn't a single method, but a blend of consistent, varied practices. It combined structured learning with organic, spontaneous interactions. She realized that active participation and stepping outside her comfort zone were crucial components, far more impactful than passive consumption of content alone. She meticulously focused on how to improve your fluency, paying less attention to perfection and more to the natural flow of her speech. Connecting ideas smoothly, using filler words appropriately, and developing a conversational rhythm became her new goals. This shift in focus made her speaking feel less like an academic exercise and more like authentic communication. Regularly, she engaged in English talking practice, setting aside dedicated time each day. This commitment transformed her sporadic efforts into a consistent routine. Whether it was 5 minutes or an hour, the important thing was the daily engagement, steadily building her linguistic muscle memory and reinforcing new vocabulary and grammatical patterns. She started talking at home, transforming her living space into a personal language lab. This low-pressure environment allowed her to experiment freely without the fear of judgment. She labeled objects around her apartment in English, creating an immersive linguistic bubble where the language was constantly present and accessible for practice. Perhaps the most transformative practice was how to talk at home to yourself. Luna began narrating her daily activities aloud, describing her breakfast, planning her day, or simply commenting on the weather. This constant internal monologue externalized, helping her to articulate thoughts directly in English without translation. She even practiced having imaginary conversations with famous people or characters from her favorite stories. This quirky method allowed her to explore a wide range of topics and vocabulary, preparing her for diverse real-life scenarios. It was a safe space for verbal improvisation, where mistakes were irrelevant and creativity flourished freely. The mirror became her patient audience. Luna would practice speeches, presentations, or simply discuss her feelings with her reflection. This helped her observe her facial expressions and body language while speaking, contributing to a more holistic and confident delivery, enhancing not just her words, but also her nonverbal communication skills. Over weeks and months, these consistent efforts began to yield remarkable results. Luna noticed a significant improvement in her ability to formulate sentences quickly and spontaneously. The words that once felt alien now flowed more naturally, becoming extensions of her thoughts, making conversations much less effortful and more enjoyable. Her vocabulary had expanded dramatically, not just from memorizing lists, but from encountering words in context through stories and real interactions. She could now recall appropriate phrases and idioms with greater ease, enriching her conversations and allowing her to express herself with more nuance and precision in various social settings. The fear of making mistakes had largely dissipated, replaced by a growing confidence. She understood that errors were simply stepping stones on the path to mastery, not indicators of failure. This shift in mindset liberated her from self-consciousness, empowering her to speak freely and openly, embracing the learning process. She no longer felt the need to translate every thought from her native language into English. Instead, she began to think directly in English, a monumental breakthrough that significantly boosted her fluency and reduced mental fatigue during conversations, making her responses much faster and more spontaneous. Her pronunciation, once a source of deep insecurity, had also vastly improved. By mimicking native speakers from movies and podcasts, and by paying attention to feedback during pair practice, she refined her sounds and intonation. Her voice now carried a clarity and naturalness she never thought possible. The confidence gained from her home practice and online interactions translated seamlessly into real-world scenarios. She found herself initiating conversations with strangers in cafes, participating actively in international meetups, and even offering directions to tourists without a hint of hesitation or nervousness. She learned to embrace opportunities to speak, no matter how brief. Every casual greeting, every question asked, every piece of information shared, served as valuable practice. Luna understood that consistency and volume of exposure were key ingredients for true linguistic assimilation and progress. The initial challenges of how people speak English now seemed less daunting. She could appreciate the diverse accents and speaking styles without feeling overwhelmed, understanding that variety was a natural part of the language's richness and global presence, enhancing her comprehension skills. Her English talking practice had evolved from rigid exercises to natural, flowing conversations. The practice wasn't just about repetition. It was about genuine communication and connection with others. This transformation made learning an enjoyable and fulfilling social activity rather than a solitary academic pursuit. The value of how to talk to people in pairs remained paramount. She continued to meet with her language partners, discussing more complex topics and engaging in debates. These deeper interactions pushed her linguistic boundaries, encouraging her to articulate abstract ideas and express nuanced opinions effectively. Learning English through stories still played a vital role, but now she challenged herself with more advanced literature and complex narratives. This deepened her cultural understanding and exposed her to more sophisticated vocabulary and rhetorical devices, enriching her comprehension and expression. She mastered how to talk with anyone, approaching conversations with genuine curiosity rather than anxiety. This open mindset transformed intimidating encounters into opportunities for learning and connection, building bridges with people from all walks of life, expanding her social network globally. Luna truly discovered the best way to learn English was personalized and multifaceted, combining structured study with immersive practice. It was a holistic approach that nurtured all aspects of language acquisition: listening, speaking, reading, and writing, adapting strategies to her unique learning style. Her journey on how to improve your fluency was a continuous process. She consciously focused on reducing hesitations, using cohesive devices, and maintaining a steady pace, refining her spoken English to sound increasingly natural and effortless in various demanding situations. She recognized that how to practice English wasn't about finding a magical shortcut, but about consistent, dedicated effort applied across various mediums. Every conversation, every book read, every podcast listened to, contributed to her cumulative progress and linguistic development. The importance of start talking at home could not be overstated. It was the safe foundation upon which her external confidence was built. This private practice allowed her to internalize patterns and vocabulary without the pressure of a live audience, fostering a strong mental framework. How to talk at home to yourself remained a beloved daily ritual. It was a space for uninhibited self-expression, where she could experiment with new words, practice intonation, and simply enjoy the sound of her own voice speaking English freely. Luna often reflected on her initial struggles, marveling at how far she had come. The shy, hesitant learner had transformed into a confident, articulate speaker, capable of engaging in deep conversations on diverse topics, truly connecting with others across linguistic barriers. She became an advocate for active, immersive learning, sharing her story with others who faced similar challenges. Her advice was always practical. Observe, practice, be brave, and most importantly, enjoy the process of discovery and communication, making the journey itself rewarding. The joy of being able to express herself fully in English was immeasurable. It opened doors to new friendships, exciting travel experiences, and professional opportunities she could only have dreamed of previously, proving the power of perseverance. Her understanding of how people speak English had deepened considerably. She could now appreciate the subtle nuances of different regional accents and registers, adapting her own speech to be understood by a wider array of global communicators, enhancing her intercultural competence. English talking practice was no longer a chore, but an integral, enjoyable part of her daily life. It was a habit cultivated through dedication, yielding tremendous returns in personal growth and global connection, proving that consistent effort truly pays off. She continued to seek out opportunities for how to talk to people in pairs, valuing the structured feedback and the shared journey of linguistic improvement with fellow learners. These partnerships provided a supportive environment for continued growth and deeper engagement. Learning English through stories evolved into a passion, not just a learning tool. She explored complex literature, gaining insights into different cultures and perspectives, enriching her understanding of the world while simultaneously expanding her linguistic prowess in subtle ways. Her mastery of how to talk with anyone made her a natural conversationalist, effortlessly navigating social situations and building rapport with diverse individuals. She possessed the gift of gab, using her English to forge meaningful connections worldwide. She realized the best way to learn English was multifaceted, combining conscious effort with subconscious absorption. It wasn't about a single magic bullet, but a continuous, dynamic engagement with the language in all its forms and contexts. Her journey was a testament to how to improve your fluency through persistence and varied approaches. It showcased that fluency wasn't about eliminating every error, but about speaking smoothly, naturally, and confidently, expressing thoughts without painful hesitation. How to practice English became her mantra. She knew that consistent, deliberate practice was the bedrock of progress, transforming aspirations into tangible abilities, empowering her to become the articulate English speaker she had always envisioned. The foundational step of start talking at home was critical. It provided a safe haven for her nascent skills to develop before facing the pressures of real-world conversations, building a strong internal confidence reservoir. And how to talk at home to yourself remained an invaluable technique for maintaining her fluency and confidence, even on days when external practice opportunities were scarce, ensuring her skills remained sharp and ready for deployment. Luna's transformation was inspiring. From a timid learner, she blossomed into a vibrant communicator, proving that anyone can master English with dedication and the right strategies, turning dreams into reality one word at a time. Her story echoed a universal truth. Language learning is a marathon, not a sprint, requiring patience, resilience, and a willingness to embrace mistakes as essential teachers. Each step forward, however small, contributed to the grander linguistic tapestry. She encouraged others to find their own best way, emphasizing experimentation and personalized learning paths. What worked for one person might not work for another, highlighting the importance of self-awareness and adaptability in the learning process. Her journey underscored that fluency wasn't merely about grammar rules, but about authentic connection. It was about using language to build bridges, share ideas, and understand diverse perspectives, making the world feel a little smaller. Luna's voice, once hesitant, now resonated with confidence and clarity. She stood as a living example of how consistent effort, coupled with diverse practice methods, could indeed unlock the power of spoken English for anyone determined to learn. The path wasn't always easy, filled with moments of frustration and self-doubt, but her unwavering commitment to English talking practice propelled her forward, turning obstacles into stepping stones towards linguistic mastery and profound personal growth. She often told newcomers, "Don't wait for perfection. Start talking now, even if it's just to yourself. Every single word counts." This simple yet profound advice became her guiding principle, empowering countless others to embark on their own journeys. And so, Luna's story became a beacon, illuminating the diverse and effective ways to learn and practice English, demonstrating that with perseverance, passion, and strategic effort, anyone can achieve their dream of confident, fluent communication in English.